3-meter diving championship, where the favorite coming into this this evening's competition is East Carolina freshman Rodrigo Romero, who was the champion on the 1-meter board back on Wednesday night.
Looking for his second gold medal of the meet, just a freshman. He's been very, very impressive, and I think what impresses me the most about him is his consistency.
Well, the defending champion on the men's 3-meter board is Parker Hardigree out of SMU. Parker is also competing this evening. Parker won it as a freshman last year. Dominic Hofer, Peter Smithson, and Rodrigo Romero, all freshmen this year. 8 divers, 6 dives apiece, and we begin with William Staubitz from Cincinnati. This is an inward 2.5 somersault pike 3.0. Big dive to get us started.
Left a little short.
Scores are okay, though, because of the high degree of difficulty. 45.0 is not terrible. Now diving Kyle Kennedy from UConn. Kyle had the dubious distinction of being on the 1-meter board on Wednesday when the fire alarm went off here in Houston.
Hopefully he's not thinking about that now.
I sure would hope so. Forward 3.5 somersault tuck.
Absolutely gorgeous top. Really gets the rotation. His hips up. Started early. Missed the out just a little bit. But a really clean, beautiful dive. At the top of that dive was phenomenal. He finishes almost 3 of those when he gets down to the board height. That's how you know it's a good top.
This is Tori Wagner from UConn. 1.5 somersault, 2 twist.
Whew. The splash is going to be bigger than he wanted, considering how clean he was on that entry. It wasn't a rip, but gorgeous dive. He twists really well. His legs were glued together. That was very impressive.
Devin Nugent now from East Carolina. Nugent in his junior season, 304.85 earlier this morning. This is a 3.5 somersault pike. Oh, yeah.
Did you like that one? It was very pretty.
Gorgeous.
He spins very well in a pike position. He's able to get his hips up.
And a 58.9 is certainly a nice score.
Yeah, highest score so far.
Dominic Hofer. Forward 3.5 somersault tuck 2.8.
Very clean. He should have solid scores on that. Yeah.
That'll work. 61.6.
He made it look easy.
He did.
That's what you want to do. Feet came slightly apart just at the end. But that's it.
Okay, last year's champion. The 6th consecutive champion from SMU, Parker Hardigree.
Took silver on 1 meter. That should lead. That should be a leading score. Yep.
68.2. Rocked it.
Just gorgeous. Look at the height. I mean, that's unbelievable. His height is, his hurdle was perfect. Hit the end of the board really well.
The judges loved it. Now Peter Smithson of SMU, 3rd straight Mustang to dive. Inward 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0.
Clean dive, but leaves it a little short. Could have stayed in that rotation a little bit longer. It's still good scores.
Still a pretty good score, 58.5. Conference record holder is SMU's Bryce Klein, 415.1 over 6 dives. That is a monster total.
That's going to be really hard to beat.
If there's anybody that could do it, it might be this guy, Rodrigo Romero. Champion on Wednesday. He begins with an inward 2.5 somersault pike 3.0.
Well, Rodrigo's just a freshman, so if it doesn't happen this meet, got a good chance of it happening in the next 3 years. That was gorgeous. His distance from the board was perfect.
63s in second place. Parker Hardigree, your round one leader. Then Romero and then Hofer, all 61 or better.
And again, it was just separating 1 and 2 right now was the degree of difficulty in those dives.
If you just tuned in, I'm Brendan Gulick, alongside former Arkansas Razorback standout diver Kristen Keith.
Average diver, but thank you.
Come on, we'll build you up. Standout pole vaulter and average diver in her own mind. Okay. Staubitz, 3.5 somersault tuck. It was a good one.
Good rotation by Staubitz, but he's pushed down a little bit, lets his chin go down. He could just pick it up a little bit. He'll be a little bit closer to the board.
All right, Kyle from UConn. Fixes the hair. That's most important first.
Now you've got me thinking of fire alarm every time I see this guy now.
Inward 2.5 somersault tuck. Kyle did a nice job on Wednesday regathering himself and still scoring well in the 1 meter competition.
Really good start to that dive. Came out just a little bit late, so it went over, hence the splash, but really nice start. That's an easy fix.
Okay. Now diving Tori from UConn will attempt dive 107C, forward 3.5 somersault tuck 2.8.
You know, it started out good with his hurdle, but when he steps down out of his hurdle, he steps back on the board, so he's not quite at the end of it, which causes the dive to be pushed out. He over-rotates and misses it out just a little bit.
Unfortunately, hence the poor scores for him. Devin from ECU, backward 2.5 somersault tuck 2.8. Last couple dives have gotten a little sloppy here.
Yeah, not as clean as he's going to want that to be. If you'll notice, when he reaches, he goes back down for his knees, and it just throws his timing off a little bit, then kicks out early. So he's really arching his back on that entry. Not quite what the judges want to see.
Dominic of SMU, backward 2.5 somersault pike 3.0.
Wow. It's a high degree of difficulty, and he just nails it.
.54, good score. All right, Parker, your leader after 1 round. Backward 2.5 somersault pike 3.0.
Really nice start to the dive. Misses his out just a little bit. Goes over. You'll see that splash, but still a very good dive. But it's one he knows he can clean up.
Well, after a huge first round score, it's not going to kill him. You can't give up too much ground here. Peter from SMU also had a really good morning. Started 58.5. Good dive for him here could help.
My goodness. That's the best dive we've seen today. 3.1 degree of difficulty. His rotation was absolutely phenomenal. This is 7.5.
68.2. Love it.
And his out is good. Doesn't rip it. Goes over just a little bit with his feet, but very nice dive.
And now Rodrigo Romero. Forward 3.5 somersault pike 3.1 as he changes the tension on the board. Huge dive for Rodrigo.
That last one will be hard to top, but he's going to try and do it.
A 63.0 on his first dive.
Wow.
He saved it pretty well.
He did. His hurdle was a little bit off. I think you could tell. He had to put his foot down quick, but phenomenal dive. Judges, if they take off for anything, it would be probably for that hurdle. And right there at the entry point, there was a little bit of turn, a little bit of rotation there.
Still 63.55. Very good. Right now, Smithson, then Romero, then Hardigree after our first couple of rounds. Round 3. Back to the top now with William Staubitz. By the way, 0.15 separate our top 2.
Crowd very pleased with that. He's got to have some family and friends here. Judges impressed too. Good score. Really nice reach on a reverse. It's the most important thing. You got to make sure that you're reaching, bringing your knees up, and he did a very good job of that.
54.6. Kyle from UConn, backward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 coming up.
Dropped his shoulders a little bit during his takeoff, and you'll see that's why he's pushed back from the board. Also, really heavy arch in his entry, which you'll see for the splash.
Now Torrey from UConn, inward 2.5 somersault tuck.
Wow, that was gorgeous.
Drilled it.
Keeps his shoulders over his toes right when he throws. Perfect. Great rotation. Comes out right on time.
Seven from East Carolina.
Ooh, he was able to rip that entry. He came out a little early, and you'll see he actually arches his back a little more than the judges probably want to see, but he was able to rip that.
Devin was all conference last year, hoping he can eke his way back up the leaderboard here. Dominic of SMU now. Reverse 2.5 somersault pike.
Comes out a little early. Doesn't quite make it to his head. Really went into his rotation a little too fast. If he could hold on and reach a little bit higher and really bring his legs up, that'll help him get the rotation started.
All right, Parker. Reverse 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0. Parker trying to stay locked in here. Do it much better than that.
He's fun to watch. He's so fun to watch because his hurdle is so consistent. I knew the second I saw him hurdle and where he landed on that board that this was going to be a gorgeous dive.
61.5, a good score. All right, Peter of SMU, backward 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0.
Really clean entry. Pushed back a little further from the board than the judges are probably going to want to see, but his entry was really clean. His pike position was beautiful.
3.7 certainly reflected some serious appreciation from our officials.
His entry was cleaner than our shot angle actually looks. If you had the exact same angle that the judges would see, the splash would not look as big as it did in our view.
Rodrigo with dive number 24 of 48 in this competition. We're almost halfway through. It's a tough one. Backward 2.5 somersault pike.
You could tell he's really not happy with the way he came out of that one.
He just
That's going to hurt.
Slipped from second to third place. Your leader right now is Peter Smithson, then Parker Hardigree, and then Romero. Smithson at 188.2, Hardigree 179.2, Romero 171.55. So a little separation here, which is making these next few dives, especially for the guys outside the top three, like Will Staubitz. This is a big one. He's 40 points behind the leader. Backward 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0. That was his best dive of the night.
Very, very nice start to the dive for him. His timing can get a little bit better on when he decides to come out of that dive. He can point his toes a little bit more, but that's a hard dive.
Kyle from UConn. Reverse 2.5 somersault tuck.
Feet came apart there at the end. A little bit of rotation as well, but pretty solid dive, and the entry was pretty clean.
Always a little tougher to get your legs glued back together from the tuck position, whereas in pike, ideally already together.
If you can have a clean entry, though, your scores are going to be pretty high.
Torrey from UConn, good one.
Yeah, that was pushed out just a little bit too much than he's going to want. That's also why he probably kicked out a little bit early. Really needs to extend his arms a little bit more off the board, and that'll be an easy fix.
42.0. Devin from East Carolina. Inward 2.5 somersault tuck.
Clean entry. You see he kind of slipped. His grip on his knees slipped just a little bit. His left leg came out just a little bit before his right one did. But other than that, clean dive for Devin.
Dominic from SMU. Backward 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.8. A lot going on in this dive.
Very pretty. Very, very gorgeous entry. His distance from the board was phenomenal. Great reach. Comes out of that twist very clean. That was a pretty dive. If he could rip that, and that's going to be 7.5s.
Parker Hardigree now, reverse 2.5 somersault, 1.5 twist. This is a 3.3, toughest dive we've seen this entire competition so far. He's trying to catapult himself into first place. Oh, yeah. Reigning champion with a big kick, but otherwise a gorgeous dive.
Wow. Watch his takeoff off the board. If we can get a replay here. Comes down, really reaches for it, and just throws for that twist so hard. That was gorgeous.
I think the 4.5 had to come from the kick at the splash at the end.
Just came out, yeah. I think that's a little harsh.
Well, thankfully, that was the low score that got thrown out. Peter of SMU awfully close to the board.
That made me nervous. I don't know if it's my angle. It could be, but that looked pretty close. But that's a good thing. When it scares you, it's good.
72.
And that's why you've got 8.5s.
Holy smokes.
Look at that. Oh. But that splash, did you see one?
No.
Hence the 8.5s.
That was borderline perfection. Rodrigo Romero, what's he going to do here? Reverse 2.5 somersault pike, 3.0.
Good hurdle. Really good hurdle. Wow. Wow. Oh, I saw what you did. Let me one-up you.
Anything you can do.
Let me one-up you,
better.
right?
73.5. What a dive.
That was absolutely gorgeous. That's the best dive of the meet so far.
Romero in second place, 15 points behind Smithson. 260.2, 245.05. Parker Hardigree, our reigning champion, is in third at 232 points. Round 5, first dive for Will Staubitz from Cincinnati. Boy, those last two were special.
Phenomenal. Oh, full out. Very nice. Good clean entry. Feet came apart just a bit, but that was a solid dive.
Kyle from UConn next on the docket. He's got a challenging dive. Forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike. 3.0.
Yep, left that one short, and that's again just because of exactly where his feet were on the board. If you look, he's about almost a foot back. It's hard to get a really good height on your dive when you're that far back on the board.
Backward 2.5 somersault tuck, 2.8 for Torrey out of UConn.
Kicks out just a little bit late. You'll see him go over a pretty big splash because of it.
Well, this is pretty quickly becoming a 3-horse race between Smithson, Romero, and Hardigree.
All underclassmen, 2 freshmen and a sophomore. That just makes you excited for the next few years of diving.
Devin from East Carolina.
That was beautiful. The top of that dive, he really went after that one. That's the best dive I've seen from Devin this entire meet.
Well, the judges felt so too. 55.5. Dominic now, forward 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike. 3.0 for the SMU Mustang.
He ripped that one. You know, he was back on the board in his hurdle, but still managed to really throw hard, get into that twist well, and rip that dive. Great throw. Stays clean in his twist. Comes out well and gets a rip. 7.5's across.
Parker, hardest dive of the meet. Forward 2.5 somersault, 2 twist pike, 3.4. Not backing down.
A little bit short. If he could have stayed in it just a little bit longer, it's just a little short, but a very nice dive.
And because of the super high degree of difficulty, a nice award.
Well, it doesn't help that we also saw that dive done so well by this guy right here last round.
Well, we're seeing the exact same dive here from Peter. 2.5 somersault, 2 twist pike, 3.4. Oh my goodness. Stop it.
It doesn't get much better than that. I thought his last dive was going to be hard to beat.
79.9.
This guy loves twisters.
Holy mackerel.
Nails his back twister, nails his front twister. Just a freshman. I wish I could dive now. That's how good this guy is. He gets me that excited.
Rodrigo Romero. 2.5 somersault, 1 twist pike, 3.0.
Really gorgeous top of that dive. Wish he could have ripped it. Scores would be 8.5s if he did, but very solid across the board. 7.5s, 7 and an 8.
All right, we're starting round 6. Peter Smithson of SMU in first. Rodrigo Romero of East Carolina in second. Parker Hardegree of SMU in third. Smithson needs exactly, basically 75 points to break the conference record. But first, we go back to the top of the order. Will Staubitz of Cincinnati.
Well, if he had another front twister to do, they only allowed you to do 2.
1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist.
Really nice.
Pretty darn good.
Splash was a little bit larger than he's going to want to like, but very, very pretty clean dive.
44.8.
And again, that 4.5, that lowest score, is because of the splash, just slightly short.
Kyle Kennedy of the UConn Huskies. His final dive on the 3-meter board. Final 3-meter dive of his career. Senior from Storrs. 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist.
Best entry that we've seen from him, though. He ripped that really well. His feet were apart, but he was able to rip that.
Okay, Torrey from UConn. One and a half somersault, 2.5 twist, backward free dive, 2.8.
Good dive. Over-rotated a little bit. You'll see his body doesn't go in perfectly straight, but a really nice dive otherwise. Just comes out of his rotation a little bit hard, so his body's still twisted.
54.6 for him. Now Devin of East Carolina. Backward 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.8.
Another good dive from Devin. Spots the water really well on his out. You'll watch when he comes out of this twist. Great spot right there.
Only 4 dives remaining. Dominic from SMU. Inward 2.5 somersault pike.
Wow, that was very pretty. Really clean, gorgeous dive.
And he gets a 60.0. He's up to 332.5. Will it be enough, though? Parker Hardegree needs a mammoth dive to repeat as champion. He'll try an inward 2.5 somersault pike. Gave it his absolute A+ effort.
You couldn't ask for much better than that from him. That was gorgeous.
70.5.
Puts him in the
Should
first
be good
place.
enough to get him onto the podium.
Bested his previous performance, though, by 34 points, which is great. But Peter Smithson right now, he's got a score of 340. And in prelims, he had a score of 333. He's still got a dive left.
He's got 75 points shy of the conference record. Reverse 3.5 somersault tuck.
Oh my God, that was beautiful. The top of that dive was absolutely phenomenal.
Conference record is 4:15. He doesn't quite get there, but 4:04.85 is a big score.
He cleans up this entry. The conference record is in sight for him. Just slightly over. What a meet from him.
That's the second best men's 3-meter diving score in American Athletic Conference history.
And he's just a freshman.
Last dive, Rodrigo Romero, reverse 1.5 somersault, 2.5 twist, 2.9.
Oh my goodness.
Boy, was this a treat.
Yeah, this was wonderful.
3-meter diving competition was outstanding. Romero 374.9 finishes as your runner-up.
We saw some phenomenal diving. Look at that. And they know it. I love it.
With a humongous score of 404.85. Your 2020 conference champion from SMU, freshman Peter Smithson.
Yeah, breaking 400 was huge for him.
Romero in second. Parker Hardigree finishes this year in third place. That's as good as you can do it. The award ceremony coming up here momentarily.
And now your top 3 divers in the men's 3-meter championship. Your bronze medalist from SMU with a final score of 367.